which was a $1 billion.
This meeting is being recorded.
A $1 billion competitor of ours. We closed on that deal in November, so we recently just expanded in our size. As you can see, we're our margin now, our cap is around $7 billion, and we have really, I think that team member number is slightly short. I think we're closer to like 135, 140 in terms of the amount of frontline employees that we have, as well as our management team. We operate not just in the States. We have offices in the UK and Canada. So we are an international firm. We don't have a huge presence in other areas, but that's kind of the overview of the firm itself. And we'll get into exactly what we do too, but I wanted to show this also as a slide, just so you guys can see all the different clients we have. And it's not saying that we service every single location that these clients are in, but these are some of our, major clients. As you can see, Pfizer's on there, right? With everything going on with the pandemic, and Johnson & Johnson. We do all different types of facilities, medical centers, as you can see with Tufts, universities, and even financial institutions such as JP Morgan Chase. So I'm going to skip this slide right now and we'll go back to it. I think it's better if we kind of talk a little bit about ourselves first and kind of what we do and how we got here, and then we can go back to that slide and talk a little bit about the current state of the job market and kind of what we're seeing in terms of what you're going to be experiencing if you guys are graduating soon. So like I said before, I graduated in 2011. I started out as an admin to the controller, based out of New York City. I'm originally from Westchester County, so it wasn't too far for me to get into the city. And I've kind of worked my way up from there. I moved into a financial analyst role, and then I moved out into the Westchester branch, and that's where I became, that's where I kind of got the opportunity to jump into operations. I became a district manager out there. After a couple of years, I was transferred back into the city, where I was then promoted to a senior branch manager. And back in 2019, I moved up to Boston and became the director for this area. Stephen, you want to give a little background of how you got to where you are?
Yep, definitely. So I graduated in 2017. I was lucky enough to meet Larry in 2016 through the Backpacks, the Briefcases opportunity that Oneonta provides, which led to an internship that I did the summer of 2016. It was a great experience for 3 months. That following fall, once I graduated, I was offered a working opportunity with ABM, where I started as a branch administrator, where I worked under Al Hody's team and basically supported their day-to-day operation. It allowed me to kind of understand the business, the ins and outs as far as the financial and accounting aspects go, as well as how some of our processes take place. During that time, we were in the process of transitioning one of our bigger, what ended up being one of our bigger national accounts, WeWork. At the time, I was placed on that. So I transitioned from New York City to national accounts team, where I was kind of overseeing the day-to-day finances, procurement, and contract management of this new national account. I was in that role for about 2.5 years as we kind of built it. It was a new account startup. And then from there, I transitioned back to the New York City role as a district manager. And I've been here in this role for a little bit over a year now. So similar to Larry, this is the only company I've worked for so far in my career. Hopefully it stays that way. ABM is very good to us, and they love to hire from within. So yeah.
That's great. Obviously a good story, and this program, and through our internship, we do have other employees that are Oneonta grads, and it's just a testament of kind of the way we try and do our learning and development, and ensure that we're always involved with Oneonta. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what exactly I do, right? So we both kind of talked about different positions that we've held, but not really explaining what our day-to-day looks like, right? So at my level, I'm responsible for not only the financial well-being, but also to put together a strategic strategy for growth and retention, right? So, we're selling a service. That's what we do, or we provide a service. If we're just talking about the retention piece, that service is our people. Our people either do engineering or janitorial. Janitorial is the largest piece of business that we have, and really the main focus of Stephen and I. We both are looking at that. Although Stephen does have some engineering accounts, I believe, because of the team he's on in New York City. But that being said, what does my day look like? It's a combination of meeting with my team, putting together a plan of how we attack and grow profits, and also increase business coming in. We have very small margins in general in this type of business, especially dealing with union markets. So it's imperative for us financially that we continue to grow. So we're constantly looking for new business, new opportunities, and expanding services within current clients. I think the biggest change in terms of different levels is really more of kind of the strategic output and also growing the team itself, right? I'm responsible for rearranging and reorging these branches to operate more efficiently, right? Which is a little bit different than what Stephen would be doing. That being said, I'm also, responsible for approving any pricing that is going out to clients. When there's a request for a proposal or a new contract that happens, my district managers and my team would work on putting the pricing together, and they would come to me for approval as well. So really just kind of checks and balances in general, but still responsible for the day-to-day operations. Stephen, you want to give a little bit more detail on the DM level?
I'll piggyback off that. So as Larry mentioned, he's responsible for the strategy and implementing that. And someone in my role as a district manager, our responsibility is to carry that out and kind of have boots on the ground and make sure, we initiate that, whether it's with our frontline workers, our project managers, and engaging with our clients on a day-to-day to make sure that, our book of business that I'm responsible for is, remaining profitable and growing throughout the year. So, I'm engaging with clients day to day. I guess I'll give you an example just so I don't go off on a tangent. As a district manager, we kind of wear multiple hats. We're dealing with HR issues on a day-to-day, accounting and financials. So like Larry mentioned, where most markets are dealing with the union here in New York City, we're dealing with 32BJ, over 400 employees within my portfolio. So whether it's arbitration I'm sitting in or a wage grievance I have to deal with, those are some issues I deal with on a day-to-day, I guess, on the labor side. As far as pricing goes, I'm dealing with proposals, meeting with clients, looking to get new services or increase our supplemental contracts with tenants within the space. And again, that always usually goes through approval, like to someone like Larry. That's just what we do in a nutshell on a day-to-day. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and happy to elaborate.
Yeah, and the one thing I will add, when we do have obviously support staff as well that helps us, right? We have billers, we have AR clerks, collections, HR teams, but a lot of things are generated by the operations teams. I mean, we're the ones responsible. We close our books on a monthly basis, and go through our profit and loss statement and ensure that things are in the right buckets and that accounts are profitable. So, it's very unique because I think ABM does a great job of allowing each of our managers to kind of run their own mini book of business with a huge corporate backing, which I don't think happens in a lot of other firms, where usually operations would deal with strictly operations, and that would just be payroll and ordering supplies and things of that nature, where the DMs and up in our business, are almost financial analysts as well. So I think that's a unique thing that ABM does. But yeah, to Stephen's point, if we want to pause here, we can open it up to any questions specific to kind of how we got here and what we do, and then we can go into the labor market. If there's no questions, we'll just move on to the next thing, and we can pause at the end.
So it seems like you've changed roles like a few times. So what I was wondering, I guess, is like what prompted this? Like, were you able to make that decision where you wanted to go into like a different field of the company, or like how that happened?
Yeah. So for me, I was a business econ major with a concentration in finance. So when I graduated, I was really only getting calls for, to be like a stockbroker or to sell insurance. And I really didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be a sales guy. Scott, when he was going to the school and speaking, and he was also checking resumes, and he actually looked at my resume and talked to my advisor at the time and saw my internship and mentioned, hey, I should reach out to him. So I did, and he was a senior vice president at the time, of course, very busy, and I was a kid in school, so he didn't respond right away. It took multiple efforts for me to get in the door. I got an exploratory interview, and the HR manager really liked me, put me in front of the controller. He liked me, and that's it. I started as basically an admin. I was basically an admin until I became a kind of a staff accountant. I wasn't really happy. I think they could tell I didn't really love what I was doing. It was very monotonous, and it was, I consider myself more of an extrovert, not an introvert, and I was behind a computer for 8 hours a day. So I kind of was trying to figure out something else I can do, and then an opportunity came up to be an analyst for the branch in Westchester, and I was living in Westchester still, so it just made sense for me to give that a chance. I did that, and then I think honestly there was just a need for an operator, and because I had some of the financial backgrounds, I understood how the accounts were working. They just offered me the position. Obviously, the branch manager in that branch liked what I was doing on the analyst side, so that kind of led me into that next role. And then from there, for me, it's just kind of been do your work, do well. I really enjoy the operations because it's client relations, you're dealing with different problems. It's not static, right? There's always some other issue, and especially dealing with people make mistakes. So you're always cleaning up some sort of a mistake. So once I got onto the operations side, I really, I enjoyed it. The days went by really well. And it's just been, it's been good since then. I didn't ask for any specific transfers. They kind of just came to me, but they definitely did know originally I wasn't very happy as kind of like a staff accountant. And once I got my taste of operations, that was it. Steven, do you want to talk about that a little bit too, or?
Yeah, so similar to Larry, coming out of college, I had the same major, same concentration at the time, and I couldn't see myself kind of going into more of like a banking or finance role. When I did have the opportunity to intern with ABM, I saw how the team, operated with each other and with clients. Every day was a different task, and that's something I thought I could definitely do as a career. And like I said, luckily, they reached out to me offering me an admin position, and it was either that or go into the finance direction. So I kind of took the risk and went with ABM. It's not, like I said, this was something completely new that I was introduced to that summer. So I kind of went that direction, and, I worked hard. I was eager to learn, built relationships with people I worked with, always asked questions. And I think my higher ups, saw that I was eager to learn and always asking questions, cared about my job, and opportunities kind of fell in my lap, similar to Larry again. And I'm still today continuing to learn and grow, and, hopefully looking to move up within the company as well.
Yeah. Any other questions in terms of, how we got to where we are, or, what we do? Okay. I got a question for everyone. How many of you, or what grade are you guys in? Are you guys seniors, juniors, sophomores? Stephanie, you want to start since you spoke up first?
Yeah. Graduating this year.
Okay, so you're a senior.
Yeah.
Stephanie? Yeah, okay. And then, yeah, go ahead, Stephanie.
I'm a junior.
Okay. John, I see you joined. I don't know if he's still muted. Okay, well, regardless, so you guys are
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Hey, John.
Yeah, I'm John. It's my first year as a senior. I have another year to go as an accountant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're doing the 5-year plan.
150 credits. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys are all going to be graduating in the next couple of years, right? Either this year or next year. You guys are going into a very good job market. So let me go back to this. So, obviously, because we are a national company or international company, we have different centers, right, across different markets. So we can really kind of aggregate that and understand, what is going on in terms of a new or new hires coming out into the market. Right now, there is more demand than there is supply, right? To use economic terms, we have open positions that we can't fill, both on the front line and in management positions, because there's so much competition right now. Everyone seems to be hiring and looking, but everyone seems to be short-staffed at the same time. So it's a very unique, and it's a great climate to graduate, because you will have choices, I think, which speaks volumes to kind of where we're at now and the effects of the pandemic. Speaking of that, and I did want to bring this up too. So obviously, with the pandemic, there's been a huge push to work remote, or possibly some sort of a hybrid model, right? So look, I think there's pros and cons to both of it. I wanted to show you guys what ABM is doing. So we've developed our new ways of working, right? And there's basically 4 categories that you would fall into, whether you're mostly in an office or a client space, routinely, sometimes or rarely, right? So those are our 4 categories. We had to go through, or I had to go through my team and kind of calibrate all my direct reports and all the way down to a site supervisor, basically anyone who's management, and kind of put them in one of these buckets. So that's something that is unique and that never happened before, right? We didn't have any remote work really. Even our back office support was all going into the office. So that's a big change, right? So I think in general, it's nice to have some sort of hybrid, but I will say this, and this is more of just my recommendation to you guys. Everyone likes the idea of working from home because it's like a work from anywhere, right? Oh, I can go on vacation, or I can work from the beach, or whatever you want to do, you can technically do it. But there's a lot of things that you're missing out on, in my opinion, and I've seen it already with some new hires that we've had that have started remote or into some sort of a hybrid model where you're not going to get that team collaboration, right? And then also the team members that have been here pre-pandemic have worked together in person throughout, right? So they know each other, and there's something that is missing in terms of not being able to have a face-to-face with your boss, or after work, maybe you go out to drink with your team, right? There's that camaraderie that you're missing out on. So, my recommendation is, don't think you only want something that is work from home. Especially as a new hire, you're going to want to, I think, have something where at least you're in the office some part of the time, so that way you can have that collaboration. Like this, for instance, this meeting is fine, but if we were in person like we used to be, there'd probably be more interaction, right? There would have been probably more questions. It would have been, it can become a better meeting just because you're in front of someone, and it's not as choppy, and I think that is very important for you guys to consider when you're looking at a new job. So Steve, do you have anything to add to that? I know, I know I'm dealing with it also with even some of my friends that have been kind of bouncing around a lot because of that, because they don't feel any loyalty or pride in what they're doing. It's kind of just, I'm just going to turn on this computer for 8 hours at my house and then turn it off.
No, yeah, I agree. In our field in operations, working for ABM, we were pretty much always in the office, right? Working from home, like Larry said, wasn't really a thing. Once COVID hit, obviously we were all forced to go remote at some point for an extended period of time. We made it work, but it wasn't the same. And something I will say is something I appreciate about ABM is being able to collaborate with my team and engage clients. Unfortunately, we weren't really able to do that. So it was just sitting behind a computer days in, out, and it kind of made you appreciate what you had before. And I think having that connection, that human face-to-face connection, goes a long way. I know, working from home is definitely something that's going to be implemented in the future, but it goes a long way being able to have a relationship outside of work, not behind the computer. But yeah, and our business is pretty much all client facing for the most part. So not being able to do that, it was very difficult, but we're slowly phasing back into that. It's, we're approaching an endemic, as they call it. So it's something to look forward to. But yeah, we're still outside of ABM. Like, yeah, I have friends too that, work in finance and tech and marketing, and they're all pretty much remote. Some of them miss it. Some of them don't want to go back to the office. It really depends on the personality, but for the most part, I would say between 70 and 80% are kind of eager to get back there, especially, summer months coming up. And like Larry said, hanging out with your coworkers after work, it's like a reward for all the hard work you put in sometimes. And I think that's important.
Yeah. And I will say, look, like you can probably tell I'm home today, right? So we do still have that ability, and especially, in my role and even in Steven's role, or a branch manager, which would be in between Steven and I, you can be away from the office or away from a client, right? We can do most of our work online. It's the personal touch of actually being at the sites themselves, which we do have to do, right? We have to be visible for our clients, and also the client relationship piece is huge, right? Especially when you're dealing like we are in a union market where everyone's kind of have the same inputs, and the staff is going to stay intact whether or not you have the contract or one of your competitors do. It's the relationship you have with that property manager that might save you that business. So, it is nice to have the ability to not have to be in the office all the time. Like, for instance, today I was on my closed call all morning until I literally got off to get onto this call. So I knew I was going to be just stuck on a computer. So there was no difference if I'm doing that from here or if I'm doing that from my office with my door closed. So yeah, the flexibility is nice, but I definitely, again, make sure you consider that. So John, I see you have a question, so we'll go to you first since your hand was up first.
Hi. Yeah, you were talking about finding solutions to working at home. I was wondering, has there been any like R&D on virtual reality or augmented reality? Because I've seen, I did a project on Deloitte, and it seems like they're going that direction. You see social media going that direction. I don't think it's going to really take off until video games start doing it more. There's going to be those virtual worlds that people are going to be at home living in.
Yeah.
So if there was like R&D where people could work like that, make a lot.
Yeah.
Also,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Also, with the R&D is integrating robots, so it's someone can operate a robot from a distance or something like that. Just some ideas.
Yeah. So on the I'll do the robotics first. So that's something that we've actually been experimenting with for the last, I would say, 3 to 4 years. In terms of, we can have a scrubber that works, you pre-program it and it, will vacuum the floor or scrub the floor, by itself. Someone still has to monitor it and check on it, right? In terms of the augmented reality and VR, that's something we are looking at, but we have not personally dove into it on the ABM side. I think that's we're trying to still get our tech up to speed in terms of even just our staff themselves. You have to remember, a lot of our frontline employees aren't very tech savvy, right? So because of that, we're kind of in some constraints on the, on our management side and financial side. Yeah, of course. And that has been something that's been discussed about kind of exploring it more, but we really haven't gotten off the ground on that. But the robotics is something that, I have 2 accounts where we have robotics already implemented in, and there's pros and cons, right? Someone still has to check on the robot themselves, so you still have to have some sort of a labor. Someone's got a program, so you need someone who has that caliber, of talent, right, in order to kind of put the program together and be able to troubleshoot if it doesn't work. So yeah, it's a unique thing, but robotics definitely seem to be picking up some steam and some traction. On the VR side, not so much yet. Stephanie?
So as far as the hybrid model goes, do you think that'll be like permanent, like from here on? Or do you think it's gonna be like temporary for a while? Like other companies, I know they just did that because like we're just recently getting out of COVID. So
Right.
people are just doing the hybrid model for now and then changing like to in-person office work afterwards.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so throughout the pandemic and still right now, our corporate mandate is if you can do your work from home or you don't have to be in the office, don't go to the office. Starting March 28th is our official return to office. And that in this slide that you're looking at, everyone has to be placed into one of these 4 buckets, and that will be the go forward permanent kind of arrangement for those employees. So, all of our employees have been spoken to already. They already know what bucket they're in. Again, because we do provide a service and we are in client spaces, the majority of our 140,000, 130,000 employees will mostly be at a site or at the office. So I think it depends on the client, but for the most part, what we're seeing is there's been work arrangements that have been agreed to, and that will be the work arrangement going forward. I don't think there's going to be too much going back to it, unless, of course, something else happens in terms of like another variant.
Yeah, I agree with Larry. The only thing I see changing is if, obviously there's going to be surveys being sent out from our HR and corporate just to see how the process is going. There might be, more employees that want to come back to the office that might kind of adjust this, or, no change at all. But I don't see it going, back to where we were unless obviously, God forbid, another situation like COVID happened.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys, or anything else that you want us to touch upon? I think we kind of covered everything that I was expecting to cover, but again, those are, I think, my 2 biggest recommendations is don't only look for something that's work from home. Make sure you understand the culture of that job, right? And what it entails. So there's no surprises. And don't just accept your first offer. Just make sure you're really comfortable with what you want. I do think you guys are, like I said, coming out into a great labor market, so you should have multiple options.
John, you got a question?
Yeah, I gotta find my mic. All right. I was just wondering, like, how many branches of ABM are there? Are there multiple states? Where are like the main ones?
Off the top of my head, because I was on the national account team, I want to say roughly 20 to 28 cities.
20 cities, you said?
Larry, correct me if I'm wrong. I know we're in 28 of the major cities at least.
Yeah, 28 of the major cities. I think we do have some satellite offices too in some of the, maybe not the larger cities. Like I think of my book of business, right? So in New England, right, which including Connecticut, we have 4 offices between Connecticut, Boston. We have one in the suburbs of Mass. And then we have an office in Albany, in Syracuse, in Buffalo, and a small office in Rochester. So, I mean, I'm not sure what the number is, but, in terms of the major cities, we're in almost every major city, right? And then we do have a lot of satellite offices. So, but if you go on our website and you can type in any city and it'll give you an office that's nearby, or at least relatively close.
That's good, because I might be when I graduate, I might go to after graduating to Albany for an MBA possibly. So maybe I'll look into that if I move to the area there.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's part of my team, John, the Albany area. And we are actually, and I'll mention this we will be looking for an intern for this summer, and most likely out of our Syracuse office. I know that's not that far from Oneonta. I don't know where you guys live in the summer, but that's something to keep in mind. I'm sure Brittany can help you guys get in touch with the right people in order to apply once the job is posted. But yeah, and then we will be I will be having an intern as well in Boston. So I don't know if anyone's from Massachusetts, but I'm sure New York City is going to have an intern. Probably multiple.
I think we're bringing it back this summer. And, you know, I'm sure myself or Maria Mateo will share that information with the coordinator for your program as well.
Yeah, I'm wondering where would I find the Syracuse one? Because I'm thinking about I'm thinking this summer I'll probably just take off from classes. I'm not going to probably do much with the school, so maybe I can, you know, possibly be in the area there.
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Once
something
the
like that.
so none of the intern positions aren't posted yet, but you know, I'll work with and touch base with Brittany and the coordinator and make sure you guys get the links to apply, and you know, you can meet my team up there, and if hopefully it works out.
Yeah, we'll pass along any intern. Usually, if there's any openings, if the alum lets us know, we pass it along to like the head of the department and advisors so that they can share that information with students. So if we get any of that information, we'll be sure to pass it on.
All right, I got a question for you guys. Is the sip and sale still open, or did that close?
Okay.
Still open? All right, good.
Still open, but they got into a lot of trouble like 2 years ago, or maybe a year ago. No, I think it was 2 years ago.
So they got
for
in
under-
a lot of trouble my junior
They
year.
got
So I
busted.
guess old habits
Yeah.
don't
they
don't
were
break up easily.
The
Yeah, they're
owner,
probably skating on thin ice then.
the owner is actually
Yeah.
a friend of mine from high school. So
Oh yeah.
they also own Latte Lounge, the same owners.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Nice.
Very
What
cool.
I'm trying to think what else. What was the place? The Fox? Is that it?
Copper Fox still there, still going
Yeah.
strong. The Black Oak Tavern, the Red Jug Pub, or as I know it, the Old Spanish Tavern.
Was
Oh
Jimmy
yeah.
still thing there? I don't know if that was around when Larry was there, but
Which one?
The
Jimmy
Old
T.
Spanish Tavern, which is now the Red Jug Pub. It used to be the Old Spanish.
Yeah. Yeah, that's there.
I-
Oh,
I'm
Jim-
also an alum. I'm also a business economics major, so
Okay. All right.
I'm
What-
be on this call. But
Yeah. What about what was the one over by oh my god. It was more of a restaurant. They had the garbage wings.
you know,
Oh man, I forget the Depot.
Depot
The
still
Depot.
there,
Yeah,
Still there. Nice.
surviving and thriving. Yeah, we still have
Surviving and
the
thriving.
Eastside Ballroom, which took over the old Clinton Pub. We still have Legends,
Okay.
gone back and forth with many names.
Yeah.
The Rail, which was also known as Rail Benders, closed. That's now Shooters 5-7.
Really. The rail, that was my coach's favorite.
I was too.
Burns. He's still the coach. Yeah, I played soccer when I was up there.
Larry, when's the last time you've been back there? How many years has it been?
Geez, probably the last time I went was when I went up with oh my god. I'm trying to think now. It has to be at least, I don't know, 6 years. I haven't been up there in forever. I mean, I was in Syracuse not too long ago, but I didn't go to Oneonta.
Gotcha. Yeah.
How about you?
It's coming up, guys. June 10th.
June 10th. Okay.
That's what I work
Good to
on
know.
mostly, is planning Alumni Weekend. So
Okay. Fair enough.
Keep that in mind.
Actually, I think I did go up there with Maria to interview some candidates for the internship program. That was probably the last time I was up there.
Wow. Yeah.
Definitely been a while.
Yeah. I went in 2018. It's been a while. 4 years.
Well, thanks everyone for getting on, and you know, hopefully we gave you some good advice and some good information, and you learned a lot about ABM and what we do. And next time you see our logo, you'll think of Stephen and I guess, because we are everywhere. Now that you've seen the ABM logo, you will see it in airports and all sorts of places, venues, and it's funny once you recognize the brand, then you see the brand all over the place.
Thank you
All right.
guys. Thank you for your time. Thanks for everybody who joined. This has been recorded, so it will be up on our YouTube channel soon. So if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Michelle Hansen, and we can get you in touch. So thanks for your
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Meeting.
Good luck.